Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. With spring ball just around the corner, it's about time we take a look at some newcomers to the college football landscape and start giving out some class superlatives. And we're taking a look at this Miami Hurricanes 2024 class. And for the Miami Hurricane fans that have been rocking with the boys for the last couple of months, y'all already know how I feel about this class. I think this was a tremendous class Mario Cristobal put together specifically on the defensive line. And we have 5 superlatives to give out to this 2024 class. This was an extremely difficult practice to do. There are a lot of names that I wanted to give shout outs to. The 5 superlatives: most playtime as a freshman, highest draft pick, most likely to outplay their ranking, number 4 being class MVP, and then number 5 being the high risk, high reward prospect in this 2024 class. Extremely excited to get into this one. We're going to start with most playtime as a true freshman. Before we get into it, 2 things. One, just wanted to say thank you to you guys. There has been a tremendous amount of support from the Miami Hurricane fans as we've broken down the Canes on the recruiting trail. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have shown the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. That 2025 class just getting started, so we'll continue to cover that. And then more importantly, would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. I got 5 names that I give these superlatives to. There were about 10, 15 names that I wanted to include. Would love for you guys to give some shout outs in the comment section below. And without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to start with the most playtime as a true freshman. And I think this one, to me, was pretty obvious, and that's Zaquan Patterson. I mean, 2 things that you're really looking for true freshmen to get a lot of playtime. One is, are they physically ready to step on a college football field and produce year one? And Zaquan Patterson, if you check out the film and you check out the build, he certainly is, right? 6 foot, 185 pounds, probably gets up to 195 pounds as that fall practice or fall season rolls around. And this is a guy that is ready to play a variety of different positions, right? This is a guy that could play that free safety role as that center field safety. He could certainly play that box safety. He could probably even play the nickel. Physically, certainly ready to play. A very talented player. But then you start looking at the Miami Hurricanes depth chart and you say, hey, what's that one position that really would allow a freshman to come on and get significant play time? It probably is in that safety room, that nickel room for the Miami Hurricanes. So you combine Zaquan Patterson in his unique ability to be physically ready to play year one as a freshman, combined with the opportunity to get playing time in that position room for the Miami Hurricanes. And I think Zaquan Patterson, kind of a clear choice to get a lot of playing time. I even said kind of during our deep dive of the Miami Hurricanes position groups, I think Zaquan Patterson could be a starter for the Miami Hurricanes as a true freshman. I think what makes Zaquan Patterson so special, and we talk a lot about this, when you have the ability to get a lot of speed on the field to match what the offense is trying to do, but also have that ability to still be physical and stop the run, that is kind of the kind of players that you want on the football field. And Zaquan Patterson checks that box. This is a guy that is extremely physical when it comes to playing run support, being in the tackle box, but has those freaky traits to also be extremely athletic in coverage. That unique skill set, again, combined with, I think, an opportunity in this Miami Hurricanes depth chart for Zaquan Patterson to find the field a lot as a true freshman. I think we're going to see a lot of Zaquan Patterson in the fall. That's my superlative for the most play time as a freshman. Second superlative to give out goes to the highest draft pick in 3 to 4 years, and that's going to go to Justin Scott. And I know this is a little bit of a cop-out, but Justin Scott is just so unique, right? 6'4", 310 pounds, previously committed to the Ohio State Buckeyes, was a huge Michigan target for a while. And I think it comes down to God doesn't make many Justin Scotts. I mean, 6'4", 310 pounds. The size is certainly there, but the athleticism is absolutely off the charts. This is a guy that has a basketball background, played both sides of the football during his high school career, even played a little bit of a tight end. And you take a look at some important positions that are emerging in this sport of football, that interior defensive line position, extremely important, right? You're seeing a lot of RPOs kind of neutralize those elite edge rushers. So when you have the ability to have a guy that is as disruptive as Justin Scott can be over the next couple of years for the Miami Hurricanes, that's going to be absolutely massive. Justin Scott, not only a guy that has elite physical traits, but also at a position that is, I think, an increasing importance at the college football and NFL level. You're asking me who could be a top 10 NFL draft pick in the next 3 to 4 years. You got to go with the guy, Justin Scott, because what he brings to the table from a pure athleticism standpoint is just a little bit different than a lot of other interior defensive linemen across the country. Justin Scott, highest draft pick for the Miami Hurricanes in the 2024 class. Next superlative to give is most likely to outplay their ranking. And this one was easy for me. For the Miami Hurricane fans that have been listening to the boys the last couple of weeks, Ryan Mack is an absolute riser for me in this 2024 class. And it starts with going back to watching him at the Under Armour All-American Bowl as a guy that, I mean, he is wired the right way to play that cornerback position. I probably see him playing that nickel role for the Miami Hurricanes. Kind of got slept on a little bit during that recruiting process. And when he balled out at the Under Armour All-American game, you saw him get a little bit of a bump in the rankings. I don't know if they bumped him up enough. There's a couple things that I really like about Ryan Mack. One, he is a guy that is ultra competitive. And you saw him go up against elite wide receivers in that Under Armour All-American game and absolutely stay in their hip pocket the whole time. He is an extremely smooth mover. He gets the position at a very high level. And again, maybe a little bit slept on. And I think you could probably say this is a knock in terms of how On3 or 24/7 Sports does their recruiting rankings. It is very reliant on measurables, right? They're trying to project guys to the NFL and college level. And sometimes I feel like the actual player and the film evaluation gets thrown to the wayside. You go check out Ryan Mack and what he did at St. Thomas Aquinas. He was an absolute lockdown cornerback going up against big-bodied wide receivers and playing at a high level. But more importantly, this is a guy that went to the Under Armour All-American game, played against some of the best wide receivers across the country, and probably was the best defensive back during that week, both in the game and practices. You're talking about a guy that maybe was slept on during most of the recruiting process, but maybe comes into the Miami Hurricanes and maybe not year one, as he's got to fill out that frame, but year 2, year 3, year 4, I think could be a phenomenal player for the Miami Hurricanes, specifically at that nickel position. Again, another position that I think is massively undervalued at the college football level. As a Michigan fan, we had the best nickel in the country last year in Mikey Sandstrill. And you ask me who was the most impactful player on the defensive side of the football for the Michigan Wolverines, I'd probably point to Mikey. And so a guy like Ryan Mack, even though he might play the nickel position, a position that is extremely important in the modern era of college football, and a guy that Ryan Mack, I think, has all the skill sets to be an elite nickel at the college football level. Ryan Mack, most likely to outplay his ranking. Next one up is class MVP. And this is a guy that another guy that I'm extremely high on. And this is a common theme for the Miami Hurricanes in this 2024 class, and that's JoJo Trader, a guy that kind of just special in terms of his movement skills, in terms of his ability to create separation, in terms of his ball skills. And the reason I chose JoJo Trader to be the class MVP is I don't know if Miami's ever had that true boundary wide receiver that's special, right? Xavier Restrepo has been awesome for the Hurricanes. It was very, very good for them in 2023 as that slot wide receiver. Have they had a difference maker on the outside the last couple of years? I mean, the last guy I can really think of is maybe Charleston Rambo. I think JoJo Trader could be that guy for the Miami Hurricanes, and that's a position group that we've been talking about a lot. One, significantly important to a college football offense when you have that true wide receiver one that can make those game-changing plays, attacking the deeper third with the football in his hands. It's absolutely massive. And JoJo Trader checks all those boxes. The ball skills when he is tracking that football down the field, extremely good, right? Body control, being able to high point the football. And then you have a guy that is also elite after the catch, the ability to make people miss, turn a 4-yard completion into a 25-yard completion. I think that's what JoJo Trader brings to the table, and I think it's a position that Miami has sorely missed. And so do I think JoJo Trader can make a year one impact? Absolutely. But you talk about year 2, year 3, year 4, who's going to be the most impactful 2024 class member to this team over the next couple of years? I mean, give me all the JoJo Trader stock that you can possibly get, because I think this is a guy that's going to be special for this Miami Hurricanes offense over the next couple of years. And the last superlative to give The highest risk, highest reward prospect, and this one was tricky for me to go to, and it's going to be Booker Pickett Jr., a guy that I think is much more on the high reward than the high risk. The reason I put him as a high risk, to get that out of the way, and you see it on the screen, right? 6'3", 205 pounds. I've heard that he's up to closer to 215 pounds. Booker Pickett Jr., if he puts it together, puts some weight on at the next level, is going to be, in my mind, a special edge rusher. Again, another guy like Ryan Mack, you go to the Under Armour All-American game, this dude was, largely unblockable for elite tackles at the next level. Crazy first step, very good twitch, burst, bend around tackles, and you can't really teach that type of stuff. This is a true Ferrari as an edge rusher. Now, again, the one reason I have him as maybe a high-risk prospect, the guy that, again, at the end of the day, you brought in, 27 commitments for the Miami Hurricanes in this 2024 class. Not every single one of them is going to hit. And the reason you might be a little bit concerned about Booker Pickett Jr. is the weight going to come on, right? And then if the weight does come on, can he maintain that athleticism and juice off the edge? Y'all know how I feel about Booker Pickett Jr., a guy that I certainly think is going to be more of the high reward guy than the high risk guy. 70 plus sacks during his high school career, absolutely absurd numbers. If he puts the weight on and puts it together at the next level, you're looking at an elite edge rusher. But again, there is a little bit of risk to it because he is significantly undersized for that edge rusher position right now. And that's probably going to be the guy that doesn't get to campus until the summer. I'm going to be checking the roster, see what the weight is, see what he looks like in fall camp. A guy that might not play a ton year one for the Miami Hurricanes as he continues to kind of get that body right. But a guy that, again, year 2, year 3, year 4, if he puts it together, that body comes together. You're looking at truly a special edge rusher at that position. I put Marquise Lightfoot right in that boat as well. A guy that has special traits, just has to put on a little bit of weight. So those are my 5 class superlatives. Again, would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Some names that I left off. This one was extremely difficult for me to do. I had so many names that I wanted to include. I went down to Zaquan, Justin Scott, Ryan Mack, JoJo Trader, and Booker Pickett Jr. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys, checking it out. Again, would love to hear you guys in the comment section. And if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.